Kamijo Touma made his epic return to Academy City after saving the world by stopping Archangel Gabriel in World War III. He was basically presumed dead by those who knew that he went to Russia to stop Fiamma of the Right from taking over the world. Meanwhile, Accelerator and Hamazura had successfully protected Fremeia Saverlin, Frenda's sister, from the mysterious group known as the Freshmen. One of the members was Kuruyaru Umidori, an Esper who is also a cyborg and has Accelerator's thought patterns in her brain. Now, I will be reading the scene where Touma made his triumphant return as requested by Void Hero on my Patreon. Kuruyaru Umidori was lying on the floor. She had been hit by numerous shrapnel and had lost quite a lot of blood, but at least she still had her limbs intact. Even facing such a sweeping fire, she actually had not been hit directly, as expected of a strong Esper of Academy City. She was not an enemy that could be fought using just common sense. "So the freshman commotion is over, right?" asked Hamazura. "Where is that Fremeia Saverlin brat?" Accelerator questioned. "Inside a large bank vault. It'll open in half a day because of the timer control." "How troublesome. I'll just use my power to force it open." "I wanted to as well, but we need to hide the weapons before anti-skill arrive, or it'll be quite troublesome for Kuruwa-chan." While talking, the two people subconsciously ignored Kuruyaru Umidori. That was a mistake. They were still unable to grasp the nature of the thing they were fighting against. Cyborgs, machines. Most of it had been shattered into numerous pieces when the Gatling railgun fired on it. However, though the machine couldn't work if a part ABC was missing, by linking part A, part B, and part C, they could create a part D. In other words, even if they were crushed, the arms wouldn't necessarily be disabled. There was the sound of a breath. Hamazura saw the collapsed Kuruyaru stretch her small hand forward. At the same time, over 100 arms that were barely packed together moved at once. The target was neither Hamazura Shiage nor Accelerator. Fremeia Saverlin. The sound of an explosion could be heard. A large amount of air mixed together to form a several 100-meter long, gigantic lance. The aim was rather messed up as well. Fremeia was definitely on the 3rd level, but Koryaru's lance was aimed at the ground, as if aiming at the ground level. But that was enough. Once she swung the lance horizontally, it would be enough to slice the abandoned building. It was hard to say if the bank vault could completely endure the impact of the fall, and the distorted power itself was enough to easily rip the walls of the bank vaults apart. This was what Academy City made. A subversion of common sense that was under scientific discipline.
"Fuck you! This is my last hope. This is the incomparable darkness of Academy City."
An explosion could be heard. The lance was swung. Hamazura Shiage regretted. He regretted thinking that it had been over and getting out of the powered suit. He regretted seeing Kuruyaru Umidori like that and forgetting that she could still launch a fatal attack at a kid. He regretted that he could have settled this without killing so many people and yet chose the most redundant method. He regretted that he was not the one who ended up in danger, but Fremeia, who believed in him so much. Accelerator was furious, angry he had mocked Kuruyaru's waving sense of living. That excessive talk regained her real nature, and presented her the opportunity to select the aggression option. They were both the same. They had not made the final choice adequately. Damn it. Hamazura gritted his teeth and intended to stop Kuruyaru, but it was too late. Besides, even when he was wearing the unique clothing, it was hard for Hamazura to act as a shield without the 5-over. So, in the end, a supporting character like me is unable to finish anything like a hero? He moved to block all the lances. No matter what, Hamazura only cared about charging forward. A storm was whipped up. He could only stare and watch the last chance pass by his eyes. He was absorbed in the aftershock of the storm, slowly closing his eyes. The colour of despair clouded his vision. He felt that all he had done up to now was completely destroyed by one strike. Fremeia Saverlin couldn't be saved anymore. He chose the wrong winning and losing conditions. It was not his win, even though he had beaten Silver Cross and Kuroyoru. He had actually forgotten that the simple objective of protecting Fumaya Seiverland's life and smile would be the real victory. Beating the 5 over and Kuroyoru were useless. He had thought that he could protect. He had thought that Fumaya would be safe once he beat a strong enemy. But in the end, damn it! A scream full of despair. However, Hamazura noticed it. He heard the sound of the lance being swung, but that was it. The sound of an abandoned building collapsing wasn't heard. What? Trembling, he opened his eyes. It was a strange scene. There was definitely a lance. It was several hundred meters long, formed by compressing air together unnaturally. The block of violence would undoubtedly cleave the building. However, in reality, the building that Fumaya was hiding in was completely unscathed. It hadn't fallen. What had stopped it? The one attack that Kuroyoru Umidori had let loose with all her remaining strength and resolve. It was a boy. More accurately, it was the boy's right hand, Kamijo Touma. The boy with the Imagine Breaker, hidden inside his right hand, stopped the bomber lance. The conclusion came quickly. It blew away the nitrogen lance that had so much power within it, and Kuroyoru, who had just witnessed her last hope be broken, lost consciousness. There was complete silence. It was a world devoid of danger. He easily swung the right hand with the most inexplainable power in the world, and casually spoke to Hamazura and Accelerator. Long time no see. I hope you enjoyed this narration of this part of New Testament Volume 1, minus the dodgy acting, I know. Still, I hope it gave it a certain charm to it. I will be starting to do more light novel summaries again, so if you enjoyed this and want to see more in-depth light novel content, make sure you subscribe and watch these videos on screen right now.